From the EPAWA headquarters in South Allentown, Pennsylvania, it's time for Weather Weeklies, an informative video of the ins and outs of weather that affect you most in the EPAWA coverage area. The following segment is a weekly video blog, and the opinions of the forecaster do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the staff of Eastern PA Weather Authority LLC as a whole, nor its constituents. Without further ado, here is meteorologist Bobby Martrus with Weather Weeklies.
Hey, good Sunday morning to you. Another edition of Weather Weeklies for Sunday, April 19th. We're going to get into the long range today, and we're going to discuss what our opinions of the Atlantic hurricane season are. We'll get that to the second half of the video. But to start off, we're going to look at our long range projection. This was just updated this week. And actually, I'm the one that updated it this week. But this is, of course, anytime we do a long range update, we're in collaboration with several of our forecasters. It's not just my opinion per se. So this is the EPAWA threat analysis as a whole. As far as temperature, just looking at temperatures now. Once we get out of winter, really not concerned about individual storms unless we're talking about a hurricane or something like that that is grand scale. We really don't need to put on here whether we're going to get rain in a certain time frame. The long range we're talking about are primarily just temperatures, fluctuations from normal, what's considered to be normal for this time of year. Right now we're averaging generally about low to mid 60s from north to south across our coverage area of what is considered to be normal. So, of course, if you go further in time, that goes up. The temperature averages go up, but we're talking about above average or below average. That's our point of reference right now. So right now we're in this above average regime that's expected to continue to about the 21st, maybe the 22nd. Then we had the 22nd through 29th, a below average period. I still believe that we are on target for that. That's why we went so high for the confidence level. These are pretty, actually going moderate for when you're going in the long range is actually a pretty high confidence level. And then we go out even further than that from maybe like the last day of this month or getting into early May, the first week or so of May. We're getting back to near normal or maybe even slightly above average temperatures. That's the average of the entire period. So again, when you're talking about a range like this, 15th to 21st here, it doesn't mean every single day in that period is going to be above average, but the period as a whole, that entire week is going to average above average. When it's all said and done, we just average that week. So you might have one day that it's maybe raining in 58 degrees or something like that. So that, of course, would be below normal. But then you have several other days, every other day in that period that's above normal, or some cases well above normal, like we had on Saturday with temperatures near 80 degrees in many areas. Of course, that's well above normal. So just to give you an idea what we're talking about here. Then we get into May. May as a whole, we have above average here. I do think once we get past that first week of May, we start to really turn on the heat, and we're going to be into some maybe some early summer feel type temperatures as we get into May here. So we're going to break down what we're looking at right now. Now, the Madden-Julian oscillation, once we get out of winter, it really has, I still look at it. I don't want to give you the wrong idea like I don't, but it doesn't really have as much influence on our weather as it does in the wintertime. So we're going to give it its just due, though. Right now, what you're looking at for your warm phases in this time of year, there are pretty much 6 cold phases, and the rest are just phase 5 and phase 6 are the phases that are the warmer phases in our area here. So those will be over here. You would want that to be over in this area here. The rest of them are all pretty much cold phases. But lately, we've been in the circle of death here, and it's just expected to over the next couple of weeks up through May 2nd. This is the updated April 18th through May 2nd. Expected to just kind of be meandering the circle of death. That's this circle in the middle right here. What does a circle of death mean? Just means that the MJO, the Madden-Julian oscillation, which is your measure of convection along the equator in relation to the international date line, that will affect troughs and ridges in the United States. Okay, so we explained that many times throughout the winter if you've been following along. But when you have something in these little dots here, this is the actuals here. Let me get it. I get too much clutter here. These are the actuals: 31st, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. This is all month of April, and this is where we are right now. We're right here in the circle of death, and it's just supposed to stay in there in the next 2 weeks. So that just means that if it's in the circle of death, it just means the Madden-Julian oscillation has no effect, no sensible effect on our weather. So it's neither a positive nor a negative. So we're basically saying that the Madden-Julian oscillation has no effect on our weather and really is not being considered right now for any long-range forecasting, because it's really, once it's in the circle of death, it really can't. Now we start leaning towards these warmer phases then we'll start considering it, or we come out into the warm phases. We're not seeing that right now. So what we're looking at for the next week here, we talked about, actually outlining these periods here. This week's above average, 22nd through 29th below average. Well, here's what we're talking about. Here's that below average, okay? We're going to get warm, but kind of like a trough in the east here, like this. So you're going to be warm out here in the west, warm in the deep south, but you're going to have this coming across in this direction. Is going to be very persistent over about a week or so. We're going to have these below normal temperatures. In some cases, these are well below. Here is your 0 degree anomaly, which means it's neither above or below normal. Anything above that scale, the dark, these oranges, reds, these are all above normal from what's considered to be normal. All right, so it's going to be above normal across the deep south, above normal out west, below normal everywhere else. In some cases, see the greens here, these are 5, 6 degrees below normal, and then it gets even colder than that, 10, 12, 15 degrees below normal. Oops. On this scale. So that's some pretty cold stuff. All right. Now we're talking about cold relative to this time of year. So if you have high temperatures that are normally 65 degrees and you're 10 below that, what's your temperature? 55. Okay, so we're talking about low to mid 50s, maybe mid to upper 50s in some spots. We're not talking about cold snow, winter, anything like that. So let's not get excited. I think snow, we're talking about here it is the 19th of April, and people are still asking me, are we getting more snow? If it did, it would be one of the most biggest freaks of nature of all time. Not likely at all, and you're really stretching. We were just 80 degrees yesterday. Is it impossible? I guess you can say nothing's ever impossible to weather. Your chances are slim to none. Slim just left 10. Okay, so let's get into at the end of the month. Now we are expecting. Now this is some deep cold for this time of year. Once we get to the end of the month, like around the time we were talking about, the 30th onward. Now this is a look at the 29th. Still below normal here, but you see this is a lot less concentrated here. This is barely below what is considered to be, the average for that time of year. So we're starting to come out of this at this time. We're going to start moderating, and that's the week we outlined here. In the second, third bullet here, 430 to 55, near to slightly above average. I think this is showing the 29th right here. All right, I think after this you start coming around and start moderating. We actually have the month of May as a whole. We're looking at it to be above normal. Now these are pretty high projections, +3 to +4 Celsius, not Fahrenheit. Celsius. That means we're going to turn the corner pretty quickly here. Same thing, even these areas here, and the yellows, +2 to +3 Celsius. So you're talking about, maybe 4 to 6 degrees above normal here in these areas, Fahrenheit. All right. So we're going based on all the things we're looking at right now. We actually updated this in the long range, which you can take a look at and read that blog we put on the 15th separately. But we actually like May 1959 as a good analog right now of what this year matches up to. That's based on the stratospheric zonal winds. We're now in record territory as far as how fast those zonal winds have been for so long, and how it has, it's actually in record territory, where how low it's been, how far negative it's been. So we're going to start coming out of it. We're going to go from easterly to westerly. We have to. There's really no chance. So the easterlies are going to trend towards the westerlies, and then this is exactly what happened in 1959. Maybe it wasn't as negative, but it was easterly trending toward westerly, and that should happen beginning this month. And therefore, this is the analog in 1959 showing that extreme heat and the warmth in the east. So that's why we're expecting exactly a turn on the dime here. And we look at some long-range things like the Euro Weeklies, Euro Monthlies. These are long-range climatological models that we like to use outside of winter. I think I would rather use those than use something like the Madden-Julian Oscillation as much at this time of year. So you're looking at the long-range stuff. Some of these long-range models, they're indicating pretty much the same thing. We are going to turn here in May and go back into a more sustained warmth. The only problem is it might be one of those deals where May starts summer early. Okay, so just we'll update this as we get a little closer. This is what we're looking at right now. We're looking at right now as being what's going to end up happening. Let's get into the hurricane season now. Hurricane season, we expect to be a below normal year, and there's a big reason for that. I mean, one of the things that drives the hurricane season our sea surface temperatures. You look at this area right here, from the western coast of Africa, especially where these things start to develop, near the Azores, and they kind of make their way across like this, and then they can affect the east coast of the United States. Look how cold these temperatures are. You need to have warmer temperatures, sea surface temperatures, in order for tropical systems to generate and intensify. You really don't have that here. Really don't have that at all. But if you do look closer to, from the islands, the Bermuda the Bahamas, up to the Gulf Stream right off the coast here, off the southeastern U.S. coastline, and also especially the Gulf of Mexico, from the Bay of Campeche all the way up to Louisiana here. I mean, this in western coast of Florida. These are some very warm sea surface temperatures in this area. Eastern coast of Florida, same thing. So we're going to be watching this area here, and actually, let me get into well, I'll show you in a minute. They're going to watch this area here for the development of, kind of out of nowhere, where you have nothing, maybe just a weak wave that just kind of survives coming over here. It's nothing, and then all of a sudden it blows up when it hits the water here if it meets favorable conditions. So I think we're going to have our hurricanes are going to be developing last minute right here in these areas, and also tropical Pacific here near the Baja California, western coast of Mexico. From Tijuana on northward, you're going to have some hurricanes going up here also. Well, typhoons, but same idea. Get us into the hurricane season part 2, which is a zoomed in. These are sea surface temperatures in this area here. Again, very warm here in the Gulf of Mexico, very warm compared to normal out in this area from the Bahamas and on eastward. So you can see something that, just a weak tropical wave coming from this area is going to run into these sea surface temperatures. They're going to blow up very quickly. And affect the southeastern U.S. coastline. Same thing here in Mexico. Something, just a weak wave coming off from either Bay of Campeche or something just coming through the Caribbean, where it's not really in a favorable environment, and all of a sudden it hits this really warm surface temperatures or water surface temperatures here, and they can really explode up in this area here. So that's what we're going to be looking for this year. Not so much coming off of Africa, because again, down here it's just too cold. So I don't think it's for the second straight year you're going to have too much coming off of the coast of Africa. You're also dealing with some dust issues and things like that, so Sahara dust. So, our most likely area is going to be in this area here. So just to recap here, we're looking at 7 to 8 total named tropical systems in the Atlantic Ocean. 3 to 4 could become hurricanes. One, maybe 2 major hurricanes. That's going to depend on how slow these waves are moving through here. Quickly something develops here in the Gulf of Mexico or the southeastern coast of the United States. They're going to develop close to the U.S. mainland. That's the whole idea, not from way out in the Atlantic. About 70% of normal activity overall. So this is below normal activity for what we expected in a normal year. Low chance of systems surviving across Atlantic. We showed you that. Higher chance of late development near the Gulf of Mexico and the southeastern U.S. coastline due to those sea surface temperatures being warmer, trade winds being a little bit more favorable, things like that. So we're going to get into details as we get a little bit closer. Right now we're about a month away from the official start of the hurricane season in the Atlantic. So we just want to give you an update of what we're looking at right now, what we're projecting going into the hurricane season this year. Of course, anything you want to follow with our new, of course, we have a new theme on the website, but we also have a new weather forum you can sign up for. This is our active forum for the premium members as part of the premium subscription of the My Pocket Meteorologist program. If you do want to take advantage of that, joining with other weather enthusiasts that are discussing weather on a daily basis, also rubbing elbows with the meteorologists and staff, not only from Eastern PA Weather Authority, but some from the National Weather Service as well. You can do so by clicking on the image below this video. It will take you to the My Pocket Meteorologist options, where you can select the forum. You can also do text alerts, daily forecast alerts, things like that. So check into that. This is a very good program, and we're running this year-round, not just for the winter. Also, just want to quick mention our private business clients. We have, these are some of our weather partners, our major weather partners, from ArtsQuest, United Metro Energy. We also have the Steel Stacks are going to be starting their outdoor activities here very shortly in the beginning of May. We have full-time links to both Lehigh Valley and the Reading pages for when they have their home games. We'll be providing their forecasts locally for the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs and the Reading Phils, as we have already started doing. Reading Fighting Phils we are doing right now currently while the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs are on the road, but that'll be just depending on their schedule going forward. But you can check those out right from our homepage and get a link to their daily forecast, which gives you an hour-by-hour breakdown. I'm Eastern PA Weather Authority meteorologist Bobby Martrich, and this is this edition of Weather Weeklies for April 19th, 2015. Have a great weekend.